And I think it's a beautiful thing. And it ties in with the music because like I said earlier, I said when I read First Chronicles and it talks about, playing music and singing, it's prophesying. So when we do this stuff, as long as we do it in a spiritual, positive way, we're actually prophesying what, the ancients was trying to tell us. And you know what I'm saying? So it's doing something. So I feel really good. So, being a musician and a singer and a writer, oh man, it's just a beautiful time to do it right now, So that's really
cool. I gotta get my music and my words out there.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Hey, welcome to KROSS BARZ, the podcast where we discuss interesting topics with alternative perspective. I'm your co-host, Big O, and with me I have today...
You got Tanae back in the building one more time with our special guest, the one and only, the legendary Mr. David Conley. Give it up, Mr. Conley. Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo. How y'all doing out there? All right. Shalom.
All right.
Okay, yes, now, wait a minute. Now, I want to know, were you one of the originators, the talking on the record? Because I'm just let you know. Listen, your rap game is tight, and I don't know. They telling me that you was from Brick City, and I don't know.
No, I ain't nobody from no Brick City. I can tell you that right now. They ain't going down like that. Wait, where is Brick City? Isn't that DC?
I thought that was Newark, New Jersey.
That's
not from
Newark,
I'm
New
sorry.
Jersey.
Well, see how much I know. I am from Newark, New Jersey. Sorry.
All right.
I'm born in Newark at City Hospital, right down there, 9th Avenue in Newark.
9th Avenue. All right. So right there in the heart of Newark. Okay. What's that? That's the first ward, right?
No, I'm actually real close to East Orange. I actually lived in East Orange and born in Newark. That's
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all together, all the cities up there in New Jersey. So now, tell us first and foremost, how did you get into singing? Because, not all of the gentlemen in Newark in the time period was into singing because, that was a rough place to grow up.
Well, it was rough, of course, but I didn't get into singing first at all. Matter of fact, all I really do, and when Bernard let me sing, was doing some background. I could count the songs that I actually sang background on the Surface records, but he did so well that nobody wanted to step on him because his voice is so beautiful. We just want to let him just do what he do. You know what I mean? But the music kind of must have been in my bones somewhere because I don't really know how it really happened. I know how it happened, but I didn't grow up in music like that. In high school, I wasn't a musician at all. I didn't get started until I didn't get started until I graduated from high school.
So wait. You telling me that you blew up after high school? So wow.
A long time after. Yeah, a long time after.
Wait a minute. All right, so it was 3 members of the group. Who are the original members of the group Surface?
The original members is myself, Bernard Jackson, and David Townsend, who passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And I literally, I hate to even stop for a quick second. I literally just got a phone call before we went on here. My good friend, Jan Gay, I just found out that she died. And that's Nona Gay's mother. Marvin Gaye's wife.
Wow.
So, and we were very, very, very close. And so was David Townsend. So now they're both together right now. Since I mentioned Dave being passed away, I just mentioned her. My condolences and all my sincere love goes out to Nona and the rest of them, because we're tight.
Okay. Wow. And rest in peace. Yes. So how did the group Surface form? Like, were you all in the same high school? Wait a minute. We got to acknowledge, what high school did you attend?
You keep going back to high school.
Yeah, we got to get there. It's a journey. We're going to talk about the journey.
Let's talk about the journey.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to Clifford Scott. And Bernard, he lived in Connecticut, first of all.
Okay.
And David Townsend, he was living up in the Inglewood area. Because he was actually playing as well with the Isley Brothers for a little while as well. So there was a young lady that lived in East Orange that went to the other high school, which is East Orange High.
Okay.
There's two high schools at the time. And her name was Karen Copeland. And Dave and I, we had wrote a song called Falling in Love. And actually, that was actually the first Surface single right there with Karen Copeland singing as the lead vocalist for Surface.
Wow.
So some people know that was in 1983, y'all. That was a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was like 2 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you want OG, you're going to get OG today, all right? That's how I was going down.
I love it.
Yeah, Karen Copeland, and she went to East Orange High, and we wrote a song, and she became the girl that was actually demoing the song. And she sounded so good in the demo. When I played it for Ken Carey, there's a little story for that too. When I played it for Ken Carey, he was the president of South Soul Records. And I played it for him, and he really liked it. He said, because it was just a demo, a 4-track demo. Okay. And he said that if we did it as a record, he'd put it out. That's how we actually got started with the record deal.
Wow. So, from a demo.
So now.
But there's one more thing, Big O. So what happened was I was playing with a group called Slave. Some of y'all might know Slave.
Yes.
Watching down the street, watching
there you go.
Yeah.
And I was playing percussion on a couple of their records, right? So I went to the studio with them, and we were just standing in that little foyer area where Ken Carey happened to be, and I was talking to Starlina Young, who was one of the singers in the group. And she also right now is married to James Taylor from Kool and the Gang. They've been married for years now. But anyway, I kept telling her that I had this song, right? And then Ken Carey comes over, he says, "So you got a good song, huh?" I said, "Well, I think so." He said, "Come on, let's hear it." So he took me to Studio B, and he played the song. I had a little cassette, and I played the song, and he loved it. And that's when he said, "Look, if you put this as a record, I'll put it out for you." And I flipped out. So thank you to Stevie Washington, my main man, from East Orange Slave.
Yeah.
He kind of was like a roadway.
Yeah.
First deal.
So now you're at high school. You didn't have a band per se, but someone who went to the neighboring high school kind of linked you and the other gentleman up. His name again that went to Inglewood High School.
No, we actually hooked up much later because remember, I got started after high school.
Correct.
The reason why I mentioned the two high school is because Karen Copeland happened to be 4'11", which is really short, and I'm 5'1". See,
shout out to the short
so I was looking at her.
5'1" too.
I was looking at her like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean?
We the same height.
You know what I
mean?
Yo. But anyway, that wasn't going nowhere. But she ended up to be my first singer.
Okay.
And then, so I'm out of high school. Let's get that straight. I'm going.
Gotcha.
Yes. I'm out. And then I start playing this here flute. And then later on, I started playing the sax because the flute was such a light instrument. It wasn't a lot of hope for me getting some work with a flute.
Correct.
So I picked up the alto sax.
Okay.
And then the baritone sax. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, I read somewhere that you actually picked up the flute from like a sale somewhere, and that your initial intention was to sell the flute for double the price, but instead you kept it for yourself and kind of self-taught yourself how to play it. Hey, all right.
Because my friend, he's gone too. I hate to be the Grim Reaper around here.
No. Hey,
the one who sold me the flute, he's gone. So he was walking down the street and I was walking in the opposite direction. I met up with him. He said, "Yo, I got a flute. You want to buy it?" I'm like, "A flute?" So he opens it up. I said, "Wow, okay. How much?" He said, $25. I said, "All I got is 10. So he said, "Here, take it." Boom. All right. So I took it. In my head, because I'm hustling, I'm getting ready to go package this thing up and I'm getting ready to sell it for $25. Make me a quick 15. You see?
Yeah.
So I take it downstairs in my basement and I opened it up and I said, "Wow, this thing's so pretty." Right. So I figured out how to put the 3 pieces together. And then I knew that you blow it like you blow in a bottle, because I used to always blow bottles, like beer bottles, stuff, just kind of blow and make a tone. So I started blowing, all of a sudden it started to make a sound. So I started to put my fingers on it and just falling up. Next thing you know, my fingers laid right on the spots where it's supposed to be. And I started playing these little ditties. A ditty is just like a little song that you kind of like da 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 da, something like that, And I could play it. And I said, "Wait a minute." So I kept going and going until I got dizzy as hell, right? So here I am. Never had a flute in my hand before. and all of a sudden I could play the flute, right? And finally, when I just got tired, I went upstairs and I had the flute with me, and my mother was sitting on top of the steps, and she knew I was a hustler and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't fool her.
Oh,
right?
wow.
She was like, I didn't know you played the flute. I'm like, neither did I. She said, where you get that thing from? I said, well, I bought it from Dallas. She said, no, you didn't. It was a brand new flute, right? She said, you didn't buy that. But how much? I said, $10. Now she really thought I was lying. But I told her, I said, yo, Mom, I'm telling you, I bought it for $10. I was only 19 years old when I bought it. So,
wow.
So she didn't believe me, but ended up that I just kept it with me and kept going and going and going and going. Until now it's history. But I lean on that because I said that I really didn't know anything about music or flute. But so I really know for a fact that the Most High blessed me with this gift of music, because I got this here gift now that I ain't had nothing to do with it. All of a sudden I could just do this. She said, here, you can do this. I said, I can't. Yeah, you can. Just play the thing. Next thing you know, I'm playing it for people and they're enjoying it. So it was definitely something different. So I started going through the neighborhood and looking for musicians that I'd really never paid any attention to before. Singers and musicians, who are these cats? And that was back in the days. We're talking that back in the 70s. And, it was the peace signs and, all the weird stuff that we would do back then, you know what I'm saying? So these people just started appearing in front of me, like hippies types. And I became a hippie myself a little bit, but the movement of hippies was going away. And I was kind of sad because I was kind of digging it for a little while, you know.
What you was digging, the free love or the free drugs? Which one?
Well, I wasn't too heavy into the drug, although I would try something.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't really my thing.
Oh, but you like the love. You like the free love, though, right?
Oh, the love was cool. Now,
the love was cool. Oh, I bet it was.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, I bet it was. Okay.
Yeah. So I had to kind of get used to that new world, though, because it was a whole new world. Because when you mentioned free love, I didn't know that it was so easy for musicians to deal with women. Like, I could just play this thing and you're all coming over to me. Hey, I'll go with it, I needed something because I'm just a little dude. Everybody's like all tall, handsome, and all that kind of stuff, Like I needed a little help, So I need a little help.
So you got you.
Awesome.
Okay. But now that you're out of school, did you have a direction, because you weren't doing music in high school? So what was your track? Were you just going to get a job? Did you get a job, or were you on a college track?
Both. I went to Montclair State College for a little while, and I got a scholarship to go out to Texas at Bishop College in Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff, Texas. It's a part of Dallas. Okay. And so I went for one semester, but that semester was pushing and pulling on me because, it was good to be in school, but I wanted to join the band. The band that I ended up with David Townsend, he was in the band Port Authority. They was all up in Canada and stuff, man. I'm sitting up here in school. I'm like, you know what? I got to leave this joint. So I left school and I joined the band. And that's when we kind of went up to Florida, not Florida. We went up to Canada again. And the band was it was an 8-piece band. And by that time, I like to play the flute, of course, but I had to play the sax in that band. And I do like the sax, but I'm not so endeared to it. You know what I mean? So, and back then, as far as singing, the vocals, if you remember how Kool and the Gang them used to sing, they just had little spots where they came in. Hollywood singing, just kind of funk singing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the vocals was. The vocals didn't really open up until I met Bernard, because he was a real singer.
Yeah.
So when Dave and I was surrounded by Bernard, it took us to a whole nother level, because there's a whole lot in between, because we didn't know, and I certainly didn't know, that we could actually write songs. That was something, that was the next step, because first it was a musician, right? And then it was joining a band with an instrument that could work, like, for example, the sax, being in the horn section. And then as it progressed up to there, all of a sudden, I noticed that the guys in the band could write songs, and David Townsend. So I started rubbing up on him and trying to learn how to write songs. By that time, we was leaving Canada and going out to LA trying to find a record deal, because his father, David Townsend's father, His name is Ed Townsend. He was already a star. He already was a writer. He wrote "Let's Get It On" for Marvin Gaye, for example.
Oh, he still getting paid.
Yes.
Still getting paid.
Yes.
Still getting paid.
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah. So
you never had any writing classes or nothing. So you guys are just picking this stuff up.
We're picking it all up because we had as soon as we get out to LA, Ed, who was David's father, the first place he took us was to Marvin Gaye's studio. And we set up in his studio and we're bugging out, because even when we saw that big old Hollywood sign coming in, as I even reminisce, it was like crazy to see it, because I could see back then, and so we got into the studio and Marvin was lit. Let me tell you, his eyes was redder than the Pluto. You can see that far, and but he was Marvin Gaye. I was in the studio with Marvin Gaye.
You weren't starstruck like this is really Marvin Gaye.
No,
like
you had to hold it down. No, you had to hold it down.
Okay, right. You had to act like he was good. Like I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, this is Marvin. I could do it.
Well, you had to be humble first of all, but
sure,
you couldn't act crazy or else you wouldn't be welcome. You know what I mean? Nobody wants groupies all around you and stuff like that. So I had to. And plus, we were schooled by Ed. He said, "Look, I'm going to take you. Want to see Marvin? I want y'all to play. Sit back and just kind of, see what he said, that kind of thing." And I'm curious as heck. I'm supposed to be hanging out in the lounge and stuff. I'm up here sneaking all inside of the place and running around in the studio, and I end up where Marvin was in the back of the control room and everything, right? He up there smoking probably the best weed in the world. You know what I mean?
That wasn't what you was into, you just said.
No, I said drugs.
Okay.
Weed is not a drug.
Weed not drugs?
Well, it is to me now. I don't do none of that stuff. But, at the time, I would dip and dab on smoke a little weed when I could get it. But I was poor. I couldn't get no weed.
Couldn't get no weed.
Not the kind he was smoking.
Oh, I got a point.
No, man, you smell that stuff. Man, true. Man.
Okay.
So, but anyway, just being around that environment. And Ed was telling us how he wrote with Marvin Gaye. So imagine if you see me sitting here, that's where Ed would sit behind Marvin. Marvin would be standing in front of him with the microphone, and Ed would just tell him the lyrics while he was singing. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong. That whole thing. And he would give him the next line, and then he would sing it, and give him the next line, he would sing it. And that's how they would write together. Ed, he was good with words. You just spit them out.
It's like impromptu.
Great. And next thing you know, he's got hits like "Let's Get It On." So all of these are learning experiences for us, because we didn't know what was really going on. We was just funk kind of guys. We wasn't really writing the songs because the market wasn't really songs at the time. It was just funk things. You know what I mean? Later on, the real singers was coming back in because. When I was younger, we had all the singing groups, see? But there was a time when it was bands. There was Mandrill, who I joined later on, this group called Mandrill.
Part of Mandrill.
There was Kool and the Gang. There was Earth, Wind and Fire. There was Rare Earth. There was so many bands at Santana. So I was coming up in this area that was a lot of bands, and we were a horn section, see? And the horns was like a part of like the front lineup, you know what I mean? We was up there stepping and killing them, you know what I mean? So that was kind of how we got kind of started a little bit. Okay.
So now
you're
meeting Marvin, you're learning how to write. And for me, like I had to read the lyrics because, I grew up, you guys raised me on surface music.
Where?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the lyrics. It seemed like y'all was running game because y'all was, from what I was looking at. Yeah, because for me, I was like, when you mentioned that one of the members were, in the camp with Isley Brothers. And I said, I could see how you guys could be considered like, the newer version of the Isley Brothers because they've been around since the early 60s.
We had a lot of Isley Brothers stuff in our music.
Correct.
Indeed. Because of Dave, he was in the band. He was playing guitar in the band.
Yeah.
And then you got Bernard, who to us, he was like a real singer. You know what I mean? There was no funk singing stuff, although he could do that too.
I see a little shade there.
No, he could do
that stuff.
No, Bernard, he still got it. Don't get me wrong, Bernard dope. So, but So the writing stuff, it was slowly coming in. I mentioned something about the smoking the weed, but the first song I ever wrote was called "Fire It Up." I'm a mess.
Fire it up, huh?
Fire it up. You heard it on KROSS BARZ. Fire it up.
Fire it up, huh?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah,
he could have been talking about a Chevy truck. He could have been,
Fire it up. Not what we was talking about. Fire it up.
It was crazy, right?
Yeah. But so now, right? So when I was listening to the lyrics, I want that to come back because, I'm just letting you know, I was Mr. Loverman in elementary school.
Well, okay. Elementary school.
Yeah. That was the time when y'all was banging. And what I would do is I would take the albums, look at the album covers, because back in the day, when you look at the album covers, they had the words
We
on
have the lyrics on
yes,
the back.
they
lyrics
did.
on them. You know what I mean? So I would read them and then act like it was my game. You know what I mean? Because it was like, shower me with your love, that I long for. Shower me, and then you had some stuff, right? And then it brought me back to when y'all used to talk to him. Y'all used to, before y'all hit the music, y'all be like, I've been thinking about you all night, girl. Like you was getting your rap on. You know what I mean? And, I came from the era where they ended the parties with a slow song. And I used to sing.
Right.
Yeah, so I used to be like, 80, 87, 88, and I'm getting my slow grind on,
Making sure you're standing next to the girl you want to end it with, too.
Right. You gotta read your way over through the night.
Look. I was up there just talking, and I'm up there talking surface lyrics.
I ain't mad at you.
You my everything. You know what I mean? I know I was dancing around, but it was that. But they don't even talk no more. They don't even talk in the
it's a different world of music right now, but it's funny that you mentioned that because I remember when I first met my wife and she saw who I really am, you know what I mean? And she's like,
hold on, who are you?
You really ain't no surface. You ain't all romantic like that. I'm like, hey.
She called him out.
She called me out. But, it's interesting.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, the thing about singers and band members and things of that nature, when people are looking up at you, you're never going to be who they expect you to be. It just ain't going to happen. It's an illusion.
Okay.
It really is an illusion because we cannot meet ourselves up to these beautiful words. I remember the first time Bernard played "Shower Me with Your Love" for us. He wrote that song, and he played that song, and I said, I ain't never heard nothing like it before. I thought we was writing some good songs already, but when he came in with "Shower Me with Your Love," I was like, whoa, it's going down, right? And he actually had wrote that song for another group, and I said, you ain't getting that song for another group. That song's staying home right here. Yeah. And then Dave heard it, he said the same thing. And next thing you know, it was on our second album.
So what is the magic? There's an art to writing love songs. You don't write like that anymore. You don't sing like that anymore.
They had game.
What happened?
Of course we had game, but that wasn't the secret. We lived in a time period that there was still a lot of love in the air. Let's face it. The 80s, there was still a lot of love in the air. And and we played off of that. That's really what it was. We liked the funk too. We liked the dance because our first record was "Falling in Love," but it was still a romantic dance record. It was sweet. So we kind of always had that little next door flavor. The guy next door to you, who you didn't even know did anything, but all of a sudden he's coming up with these nice little words.
Okay.
I
hear it. But so now tell me about that because you said that sometimes when you meet the person that you idolize or you look up to and you meet them and they don't fulfill your expectations, who were some of the artists when you got into the industry that you was like, man, I love your music, but you was a sucker.
It wasn't a sucker thing, but I definitely got, see, this is when you get to the dark side of things. So the people that used to didn't talk about this stuff, but things do go down like when we was on tour with Zapp. I know for a fact that Roger Troutman, he just didn't like me. I never did anything wrong to him, but when I would be on the side of the stage just checking him out, because he did a lot of things on the Mini Moog, and that was my instrument back then. I had the Mini Moog. I was rocking at the bass and all that stuff, right? Okay. But I remember him coming off of the stage one day, and I might have been too close in his way. He literally, like, what the, like,
wow.
Who's going to say anything to Roger Troutman? I ain't going to say nothing to him.
Well, y'all the same height, so I'm like, it would have been an even fight.
He was a little taller than me, but
yeah, Roger Troutman is 5'4".
He's probably 5'4", but I'm 5'1". See, this is difference.
Right. Y'all had platform shoes on. Knock it off. You was 5'3".
See, here he
You was 5'3" with the shoes on. I know. You was 5'3". 5'3". I'm giving it to you.
And certain people will let you down because they're all in their world. I've seen people come off a stage pissed. And I was like, y'all sounded fabulous. What the hell happened? So-and-so didn't have my monitor up loud enough. I couldn't hear myself.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever the case may be, but everybody carries around some luggage with them. You just got to be able to handle it when it comes by, So that, people have disappointed me, but also people have really just lifted me up to a whole nother level too.
Okay, let's talk about the positive things. Who were some of the people during that time? Because during the early '80s, mid '80s, there was still like the Shalimars. Y'all was right there with them.
Oh yeah, man, I love it.
And it was like, okay, there you go. And a lot of us was Cool in the Gang. Yeah, Cool in the Gang was still rock vibing. Isley, they was coming back. They had a little rocky times around that time, but
they never really left. They're still on time.
No, they're still there.
And Cameo, you guys ran into Cameo as well.
Oh yeah.
Like at the later end.
With the history.
Oh, listen, this is what I do.
Me and Tommy, we're still good friends. And Ronald, Ronald actually used to manage me for a very short time. Him and Angela Winbush.
Angela Winbush. Wow. Look at the drop it in.
Hey, Angela still sounds great. We just did a show with her last week down in Florida, in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We did the show with Angela Winbush and Denise Williams. I couldn't think of it. And One Way.
And One Way.
Them two girls still crazy slammers.
They are. Shout out to Denise Williams. KROSS BARZ Love.
But Angela, she's powerful. She's really, really great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. She's still fabulous, man. She's on top of her game.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is we got to bring back the album covers because it shows your personality, And I want to ask you.
Covers.
Yeah, I want to ask.
It's art.
Which one of y'all had the S curl? Because I was looking, man. Y'all waves was a little too deep for my liking.
Well, I think Bernard was the one that was actually rocking the curl. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was a time when I had a little bit, in my hair, but I have curly hair anyway. So
nah, knock it off. You from the
If you see my dad, he's straight, man.
You got them long locks now.
Yeah, that's why I was looking. I had to do my research, and I was like, "Oh, that was a wave." He had the shag, and then it was like, "No beards." He had baby.
We had no beards. We had no hair on our face.
Y'all had mustaches. Y'all had mustaches.
Just the mustache. That's it.
Yeah, he had a little bow tie mustache. I was like, "Oh, nah." But one thing that I try to think about is that you guys during that era were men, and now there's a lot of children that are leading their genres, where there were men in the genre at that time.
Well, it's not that they're children. There's something that happened to the world a little bit, and a feminine spirit kind of washed on us a little bit. And if there's anything that we're really, the real men are really trying to do is really bring back men again. And the country itself, let's just look at the United States by itself. The country itself has really made many people feminine, from the jails to the dress. I don't know when men thought it was okay to wear a freaking dress. I'm looking at Kirk Franklin with a damn dress on. I'm looking at Pharrell with a dress on.
What's going on? That's couture. That's high fashion is what they call it.
There ain't nothing but devilish, if you ask me, because let me tell you something. I study the Bible every day. And the one thing he says that, effeminate men ain't going to make it. And men should not wear what pertains to a woman. It says it. So why you want to do it? Especially if you're going to be a gospel artist and you're supposed to be studying the Bible and you're putting a dress on and God said himself, you should not wear what a woman wears. A woman should not wear what a man wears.
People are going with the trends and what makes
nothing.
money and what has the most likes and what has the most, whatever on the following and whatever you don't have to really fight with.
You
right.
can do that
I understand what
you're
saying.
You can do that and be a man. You don't want to be no daggone woman, which, women's already off the hinges. Now you're going to join them? What the heck is
hey, watch it, buddy.
Hey, let's call it like we see. All right? The world's turned feminine out here. You know what I mean? So we really got to do something to really put the world back to where it's supposed to be. Okay. I mean, how can we even continue our nation if all the dudes is turning into like little fairies? You know what I mean? Come on. I'll tell you, it ain't. Hey, look, I don't care.
You spin some bars, y'all. Some people ain't gonna want to hear it, but Cross Bars is about different people, your perspective, whatever you, and I respect that. You know what I mean? And so that's what people believe it is. It is what it is. But you know what I mean? Take it or leave it. It is what it is.
Yeah, but
we gotta get back into alignment, and we gotta find some balance.
Yeah, because I agree with the sentiment. It's
the balance is natural.
I see that it's happening to our culture like exponentially. Yeah. I don't see Brad Pitt, Mel Gibson and Harrison Ford putting on dresses, but we have our leading actors. Seem like anytime they get there, they try to put them in a dress, and it's like, let's leave that alone. But let's get back to the music. That is all right. So now back to the music. Now 83, 85, 88. Surfaces hitting the stage. You guys are bumping with you got cameos going there. Shalimar, now they broke up and they bringing back new members. The Jacksons, Mike sometimes dip in and out of the group and they try to hit. How are you competing and are you seeing any money, sir?
Well, competing is one thing because there's a nature in men to compete anyway. Okay?
Absolutely.
But are we really competing? We're actually all like comrades out here. A lot of the people that you mentioned, we're all friends. And it like, for example, if somebody says, "Hey, I want you," someone says, "Can you get your hands on Howard Hughes or something like that?" Hey, yeah, let's go. So we're all kind of teaming together, and it's a good time to team up because guess what? In the midst of this music that you were talking about and the things that's going on with this here new music, guess what? People are hungry for what OGs do.
Yeah.
And when I go up there with like Angela Winbush and Denise Williams and Howard Hughes, Glenn Jones and Tony Terry, Freddie Jackson, all these cats, they want that.
Yeah.
So they gotta have it.
Yeah.
Right.
Bruno Mars got to do one of your songs, right? Bruno Mars is going to it
would be nice.
Light on it. Yeah, no, we got to nice. We got to make that.
But you know what? I love his boy. It just slipped out of my head. Who the guy he sings with? The drummer.
Pac.
Anderson Paak.
Yes.
I caught on to Anderson Paak a couple of years ago, and I saw this guy on a video, and he's playing the drums and singing and rapping. I'm like, who's this cat? I like this dude. Sometimes he sings like stuff that I'm not into. Because like I said, I'm trying to live a different life out here. But
absolutely,
I think he's extremely talented. I just fell in love with this dude, and I just said I started dialing up his videos and all, and then he hooks up with Bruno Mars.
Yeah,
and I'm like, look at this. That on the hit of you talking about is making money.
Yeah,
these cats is winning in the game.
Yeah,
and so that's a beautiful thing when that happened.
Yeah, and their spotlight, and at first I didn't quite get it. And I was like, he kind of biting this, he's doing this, that's fake.
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
I didn't realize it's like, no, he's a big fan, and he wanted to spotlight an era, and I was like, and the eras that he's bringing back is like, that's my childhood. So I'm like. I'm like, yo, go Bruno. Yo, I hope he does this one. Yo, I hope he bring back Word Out, Cameo. I hope he brings that. Like all that stuff, And during that time period, you guys had a lot of personality. Seems like everybody.
You're forgetting something. Yeah, it would be nice if Bruno Mars would do one of our songs, right? Yeah. But the rappers and all the other young cats that are coming up, they already do this a solid by sampling us.
Correct.
Yeah.
We can sample so much. Happy has been on so many records.
Yes.
Shocked. Yes. How many records that thing's been on? Yep. So
because Yeah, because I thought of you guys, because I remember when he said Pharrell has a song called Happy, and I was like, dude, you know, Happy was made a long time.
And he put that flute part on the remix.
That's what I'm talking
he
about.
He tossed me a bone. I'm like, oh.
Thank you so much.
Pharrell.
Share the love. Share the love.
Oh, man, what? But actually, I met Pharrell, and he was very kind to me. I met him a couple of times because we both lived down in Virginia. And I was in the studio with him once. So we definitely knew each other, you know, and he always had a lot of high respect for me. So that's what I really dug about him.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And, you know, you guys are putting out some great music that's, we like to say, timeless, and we're going to always respect, because I feel weird buying money that I say, this is not effort. And now you can feel some people actually put their blood, sweat, and tears into the song, the process, the writing. You know, you can even hear pain in it. And I love the little, like when you play on the records and you hear that little scratch.
Right.
You used to hear that before the song.
Little mouth. Yeah, right. That was like the anxiety. You be waiting on it.
But let me tell you something that you got there.
Yeah.
We were actually taught by Ed Townsend, because Ed Townsend would listen to our music back then, right? And we had whatever was going on. He said, you know what, guys? Y'all need to do some music. Y'all into all that fast music, fast life, fast cars, fast women. He said, y'all need to write some music that's going to outlive y'all. And that's what he did. See? And but when he put it, but we was like, how do you do that? Like, how did you put that into a bowl and mix it up, and then boom, you got something that's lasting like Happy. He did it with Let's Get It On. He did it with a bunch of other songs, and then here comes this. The Billboard has a book of the best 100, the top 100 love songs of all time.
All time, yeah.
He's in there. His son David Townsend is in there too. So that leaf fell off of the tree, and bam, he did with exactly what he wanted us to do. Because Happy is in the top 100 love songs of all times. So I'm like, wow. I'm sorry, what does it feel like being Dave and his dad like that? You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Look, we're dancing right now. Like, we feel it. And look, we didn't even hear the music, and you still make you vibe. Like, right now, I'm just grooving to it. You can feel it in your soul. Like, it's just innate, you know, that part of the music, man. I miss it, you know, growing up. You know, when you hear, like, the first little you just everybody just goes crazy.
Right.
You know, I love it.
So now just listening and looking at the lyrics, it's like, yo, y'all, because I started looking at it, and that's why I was like, we got to talk. Because I was like, okay, I never felt that I find someone like you. I feel hypnotized.
Bernard came up with that line up in there.
I'll never let you go. No, you're so right for me. I have to let you know. Forever, you and me. Right. Now, that sound like what it don't sound like. I'm gonna just go ahead.
I got you.
Little Raina.
We'll hold you down. We'll hold you down.
Yeah. When I was in 4th grade, I was telling her, only you can make me happy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like you. And I'm up here, these lyrics.
In the 4th grade.
Larry. Oh, yeah. I held her hand 2 weeks in a row. Yep. So now what I'm saying is that when I was looking at the lyrics, I was like, it seems like these cats are just rapping. Like, and I mean, rapping in the, you know, girl, you know, I thought I found a girl like you with the things you do. You know, I'm hypnotized with the things you do. And I'm like,
nice.
These fools is rapping the chicks. You know, and I'm sitting here like, because right now you gave me kind of hype. I think I could write me a love song. I really do.
You have to have it inside you, first of all. And then the life that we live, sometimes it doesn't lend yourself to those wonderful, beautiful, emotional times. So you have to dig that out of you. You know what I mean? It's not like it's coming all so natural right now. You know, as a matter of fact, when somebody does it, it's almost like, whoa, you did that, right? You went back.
Right. Like accidentally fell off. Don't know how you. So what is that though?
Yeah, it's just really a feeling, you know what I mean? Because I'm surprised that young folks are still really listening to music as far as the lyrics, because I love lyrics. That's
me
like
too.
my favorite.
Me too. You can read a lyric.
Because a lot of people, there's not a lot of lyrics in songs right now. You know, the rap songs they are, but you know, with the love songs, you know, they
ain't saying nothing.
Kind of spirit.
Yeah, they actually,
but it is something
they
about
out some garbage too. That's what they're doing. They're spelling garbage.
There is something about a good lyric. I'm a poet and a writer, and I love words. Mm-hmm. And when you can read something, I actually was in church on Sunday in Orlando, right? And you know how they pop the words up on the screen, you know, different churches, you see the words. Just reading the words evoked a feeling. Besides the music, the lyrics of the song were so good and they were so pure, and the intention of the song was so good that alone just had you in wow, just with the lyrics. And that's before the beat came. You know, just reading into it. So if people would really concentrate on the words that you speak, you said words, you know, words empower, you know what I mean? You can influence, you know, things, you know, about what you say. And it's that, and it's definitely, there's a spirit behind it all too. There's something spiritual about music. There's something spiritual about, you know, all of that. And with you guys' music, with Surface, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's timeless. I remember that. I mean, my family remembers that. It's generational. You know, it's passing from the old to the new and all of that. And that's not something you can even pay for now. Is there a class that you can teach for it? Is it just, I mean, I don't know.
You know, a lot of, like I said, a lot of things, you know, it comes in because lyrics are all around at all time. We got books. I love to read the words in the books and stuff like that, you know, and of course my Bible, that's like one of the biggest love songs all throughout that thing. As a matter of fact, even when you said it has a spirit, well, the spirit is written even in the Bible. First Chronicles 28:5. I believe that's it. It says that when you play music, you're actually prophesying. So, but now, are you going to be prophesying, you know, doing some real dirty, dungy music and have some dirty, dungy lyrics in there? No, that's not the same thing. So you have to look at the music when it does have a spirit. It can have a great spirit and a healing spirit, or it can have a destructive spirit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, some of the lyrics, when you listen to them, like, oh, did he just say that? Did he say he wanted to do her mother and her at the same time? What the heck is going on here? That's destructive. You know, because that's not really building love in our nation. And if the one thing that we really need is a whole lot more love in our nation, because the love that's missing, we're taking it and displacing it through the music that we listen to and the music that we create and the music that we hear. So, you know, right now, it's still a part of my job to really bring those vibes here. You know what I mean? Still bring them out. And until I die, I'm going to keep on trying to do the best I can to do that.
Yeah. And I actually agree with what you're saying, is that it seems like music for a certain demographic, and you listen to radio stations, is very destructive. And you can turn the dial like just a few channels and you see a different demographics, and they have a whole nother segment of music being played for that demographic. And I'm like,
that vibration, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why are you setting such a negative and destructive vibration this way, and then playing some, you know, some things that are popular but less destructive, and some things that are saying some positive things. And I think that plays a lot into some of the mindset of some of the people who are listening as well as making music. You know, but the good part is radio is dying, and some people's like, you know, give us something worth listening to and we'll come back. So hopefully somebody will say, listen, rap was about lyrics. R&B was about people who can sing very well and not just look very good, you know, because I'm a person where I can hear and tell, listen, you couldn't survive in the 70s and 80s. You know, like
you had to sing, dude. You had to sing back then.
You couldn't survive. And me and my family be having these type of discussions. And I'm like, I like something. Now, I'm not calling any names. And I will not call anybody negative. But I'm going to say, you know, you had to stand in front of Whitney. And Whitney had to stand in front of Phyllis. Phyllis had to stand beside Angela Bofill. And Angela Bofill had to stand besides Angela Winbush. Then on them, they had to stand in front of Anita Baker. Anita Baker had to stand right next to Regina Bell. You know, so now I just think a few.
Well, you named some serious ones right there.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
You know, and I ain't even saying Denise Williams was right there. You know, Aretha Franklin was still there. You know, so it's like,
Aretha.
And Patti LaBelle was still there. And oh, by the way, if you went to the gospel, the Clark sisters and Tremaine Hawkins was over there.
Oh, killing them.
So when you put somebody on stage, because it was the era of talent shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had to go to talent shows to find talent.
Yeah.
Not, okay, I record somebody at the gas station. Nah, you had to take the talent in front of a hostile audience and say, this is my talent. Let's put it on display. And if you had talent, we told you. If you didn't, you got told as well.
4 stars.
You know, absolutely. But before, let's go into this thing we got. You know, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, all right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you can say one thing or the other. So you can choose one or other. So if I say, you know, ice cream, which ice cream you like the best? Chocolate or vanilla? You can say one or the other, or you can say both. But it's up to you, okay? All right. Let's start with something easy. Okay. The Knicks or the Nets?
Don't watch them at all. But I am glad that the Nets are out here like that because of Kyrie Irving.
Okay. All right. All right. I like where we going. Okay. So you said neither, but you're leaning towards one. Okay. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go. Let's turn the temperature up. Who do you like better? Jeffrey Osborne or Colonel Abrams?
Jeffrey Osborne.
Ooh. Me too.
You said that quick.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. You got the
Colonel was nice. He was a good friend of mine before.
Yeah. But you know, he was clubbed. He's like, I got you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Would you like a whiting fried fish sandwich or a steak and take?
Definitely fish.
Okay. All right, you people in North is going to be looking at you strange. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. Look. Now we're going to throw the gut punches. Okay.
Come on.
2 Tons of Fun or Angela Winbush?
Come on. You got to go with Angela. Because, I mean, she's close to me. You know what I mean? I got to pick her.
Okay.
And I did a record on 2 Tons of Fun back in the day.
Absolutely. Listen. You know what I do. I'm trying to turn, put a little season in there. Because people don't know that you had some credits on the album. Yes, sir. All right. So what about Kool and the Gang or the Isley Brothers?
Ooh, I'm going to, even though I just talked to Chris Jasper today, believe it or not.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yes, they're like, I just talked to him.
Oh, my gosh. Now you're playing me because I came up under.
Oh, yeah.
But the Isley Brothers, daggone it, man. You know what? I got to just abstain. Let's keep going.
Okay. We're going to say both or neither. So we're going to play neither.
That's too hard.
That's all.
My heart is involved.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's hard to involve.
Look. Give them something smooth. All right, something smooth. All right. Alicia Keys or Beyonce? Something like.
You know, I would probably pick Alicia, even though she's not a good singer as Beyonce. But I don't like Beyonce's new music. I think she went away from really singing. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just leave it there.
This is more of an island sound. I got you. Okay. And I always ask everyone, LeBron or Mike Jordan?
I'm not a sports dude. When I lost my sight, I couldn't catch up with them. So I can't hang with y'all with that one.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. So, okay. All right. Go ahead, Jay.
Come on.
I don't have one. I was going to touch on because he said something about his eyesight, but you go ahead and do yours, and I do have a couple of questions about that.
Okay. All right. So now let's give it to New Jersey stuff. All right.
Okay.
Lords of the Underground or Naughty by Nature?
Naughty by Nature.
You down with OPP? Yeah.
Right.
Down with OPP. Yeah, you know me.
Redman or Joe Budden?
Might be outside the era.
No, I'm kind of in there. I dig Redman.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 95.
I don't dig him like I dig Rakim, though.
Oh, yes, bars. You just earned 2 points.
Okay, I ain't know that. So now you guys look. We're gonna have to go bonus rounds.
Wait a minute, because I read Rakim's book, and y'all should read it. It is fantastic.
What is the name of the book? What is the name of the book?
I think it was oh gosh, it wasn't R.
18th Letter? Because I know that's he had his album.
No. That wasn't the name of the book.
Okay.
It'll probably come back to me before.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe it won't.
Okay. So yeah.
Technique.
Okay.
No, that wasn't it. But that could have been
Not
it.
that one.
No.
Okay.
All right. So I like that. I like that. Okay. And lastly, because it's music. Okay, this is the last one. You going to settle?
Revelations on creativity.
You going to settle it for some people. Drake or Kanye?
I'm down with Kanye right now. I'm down with Ye.
You down with Ye?
That concert that he did with Drake,
was
phenomenal.
Wow.
But I got to give it to Ye.
I give it to Ye with Drake.
Now Drake, he was good. He wasn't no Ye.
Wow.
They killed that concert. I'm sorry. And plus, I like what Ye is saying right now. Y'all think he's crazy, but Ye on something right now.
Yeah.
I think
he said, yeah, he's on something.
He's working for the right side.
Okay. All right. So Jason Tanae.
That was good.
Okay.
That was
yeah. That was something.
Because a lot of people would pick just Drizzy. They would go with him. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his last album, Donda. Like, because it had a lot of spiritual undertones, and I really enjoyed it. Donda.
My brother even liked it. He was like, "Did you hear this in the Kanye? No."
Yeah, I didn't.
Let me tell you something. I still think he did one of the most fantastic rap records of all time, and that was Jesus Walks.
Oh wow!
And not just because of the subject matter, but it was just so well creative, creatively. And he said something that we needed out here. You know what I mean? We need that kind of love out here, y'all.
Got to be bold to do that. Not want to go with the trends.
But did you see how he put it down, though? Come on now.
He did. That was what it do. Doom, doom, doom. That's another one that comes on. All right, so I did want to touch on something because you did want to talk about and not trying to even hold you long, was about your visual impairment. You mentioned it a little bit earlier about you like, hey, when I used to be able to see. So I looked up a bunch of different things about. There's a lot of there was many blind musicians and blind African Americans who did some great things, from Stevie Wonder to Ray Charles. I looked up some more. Let me see. Even there was this guy called Blind Willie Johnson. I don't know if y'all heard about him, and but he did some music back in the day. Art Tatum, we know Ronnie Millsap. He was a country guy. Art Tatum, he was blind in one eye, and all these people. And did you know that Harriet Tubman was also blind, had a visual impairment? She had hit her head and it actually, took her vision out. So I didn't know that until I looked up some more stuff. But, in saying all that, there are all different types of visual impairments. I just wanted you to kind of talk on, your visual impairment. I think I seen something on Bowlegged Lou, and he was talking about from Full Force. He has a visual impairment. And he said, you actually encouraged him a lot of times, and he gave you, I think you performed at, his organization, but just tell us a little bit about, your visual, how it happened, how it, changed, how it, you think about it now.
Well, it's something that I took a lot of time to get used to, first of all. So it wasn't, a lot of times if you go blind instantly and stuff like that, you got a little bit more trauma to deal with. Mine was just like it was degenerative disease. So it took a little while, lower. So it was more that kind of thing. So I had a lot of time to get used to it. But just like the same way when I mentioned about that flute, before I could play the flute, I used to be an artist. I used to draw anything I could see. And then slowly, it was really hard to even see the pencil on the paper. And I stopped drawing. At the same time as I stopped drawing, here comes this flute, comes in here. So when I looked at that, I said, you know what? I shouldn't be complaining the fact that I can't see no more. Although, believe me, I love seeing, but it's not the way God wanted me to be. He just said, I have to put you in this mode because I need you to do this kind of job for me. So now that I'm really trying to just be a part of the Most High's bidding, you know, I have different views on that stuff. I don't care if I never see you again in my life, but if he decides to sprinkle his love on me and he says, look, I'm going to make you sing, I would welcome it right away, but it's not nothing that I dream about. It's not nothing that I say it's going to happen right away. You know, I'm already OG, and although they probably will come up with a cure. Oops. He was talking. That's my guy who talks to me in my computer. So I don't really give it a lot of thought. I do have a lot of friends all over the world who cannot see, who teach me a lot of things. You know, I have I just was off the phone earlier with the guy from Italy. His name is Gianluca, and he teaches me how to do all of my engineering stuff in this particular program that I use for music. So I could do everything, you know, everything that I could do.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that program? Well,
I use Reaper. Reaper is a DAW, a digital workstation, right?
Yeah.
Digital analog workstation. But the one that I use, a lot of people use Pro Tools, and Pro Tools is accessible for blind people as well. But I happen to just love Reaper because I could do everything in Reaper. You know, it's just one of them things, you know, that I kind of really got to know, and it's easy to work and everything. So getting back to the blind, you're right. I just did. As a matter of fact, Bowlegged Lou's team that he was working with, it was Peachtree, International Peachtree Film Association, I think it was. They gave me an award, and the award was called Hope with a Vision. And yes, Bowlegged Lou, he's having some problems with his eyes, and he reached out to me years ago. And we've been kind of rolling with the different technologies with the eyes and giving people some inspiration, you know, letting them see what I could do. And so you don't have to be sitting in the corner somewhere, woe was me in it and all that kind of stuff, because it's easy to woe was me when you can't see. That's crazy.
People teach you different? Like in the industry, did you see a change? Like when you started, like the people want to work with you? I
don't know if they treated me different or not. I just don't know. So I kind of go on a vibe, you know. Blatantly, nobody would just be like, no, I don't want to work with him. He's blind. That's kind of weird. Yeah. You know, but especially when you're doing everything you can do to do good work. Sure. Excuse me. I did a lot of new records. I did one with, I don't know if you guys remember David from Rough Ends.
Yeah, Rough
Ends. Yeah, him and I just did a record together, and a lot of people are a little bit, you know, surprised at the stuff that I can do without seeing anything because they're never around people like me. But I want people to get. Oh gosh, who was that? Somebody tried to call me, but don't worry about it. I want people to see what I do because it helps them say, "Well, he can do it. I can do it."
Your I'm going to interrupt real quick. Your picture went off the screen.
The phone's got to hurry up and get out of here. It's
I say it's probably ringing. Got. Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
Did it come back on? Yeah. Anytime somebody calls, it interrupts the Zoom. Gotcha. So, is it okay if I play a piece of this for y'all?
Oh, please.
I think I got it up here. I think I got it up here. And this is a song that David and I did. Yeah, I'll use this one. So as you can see and hear, every time I touch the keyboard, you know, boom. So damn, I can get around by just hearing what he's saying. So this one is called Baby Making Music. And it's, to let you know, it ain't no whole record.
Okay.
It's still got a spirit in it because, you know, when you think about making children, you know, we use words like "let's make a miracle," things of that nature. So, you know, because we're still generating.
It is a miracle.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but I'll play a piece of it for y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all tell me if y'all can hear it. Should I turn it up?
Yes.
Let's turn it up
a little bit. We can hear it. Yes.
It's been raining all day, and I like it that way. Just lying next to you gets me in the mood to do something natural. I wanna make your body sing, make your head joy bells ring. I don't wanna tease ya, I just wanna please ya. I wanna take you to a perfect place. Are you ready? Are you ready? Turn your body.
beautiful. The
Word.
It's that baby making music. Come on and let's use it. Move with the rhythm. It's that baby making music. My body, it played till we stop, then we wind to the top.
Oh man.
And there goes one.
I love that. It makes my heart feel good.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
It does. It makes my heart happy. It does. I like it. Love it.
All right, thanks.
Yay, thank you. Come on, KROSS BARZ.
That sound mine. I was like, okay, it's gonna have a different feel. So now you were able to adjust to the today's sound and everything. Oh God!
Yeah.
So you are true
love it.
artiste.
Oh man.
Well, you should be able to, without, first of all, let me just put this on the table. I'm not going to do something that I don't do. So you won't be here doing some hip hop stuff. I don't do that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I try to do as beautiful as I can, but at the same time, it does have an updated sound.
Correct.
You know, and part of that is because I collaborate with different people.
Absolutely.
You know, this particular music was collaborated with a young man from Ohio named Jeremiah.
Okay.
And him and I, we put it together because you always going to hear that flute up in there. Come on now.
Yes.
That
was all you, the flute, right?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's magical.
Yeah.
It just sounds so young.
You said a guy named Jeremiah from Ohio, not Atlanta? Jeremiah?
No, Jeremiah.
Oh, Jeremiah. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Jeremiah. All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jeremiah. I'm digging that.
Shout out to my man. But I got a shout out too, to David, of course, right?
Absolutely.
And from Rough Ends, you know, who's the singer on the song, right? And then we have my main singer, John Fever. And he's Fever. He's the one that sings with me. You met him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I did.
That's my dude. That's my partner in crime. You know what I mean? So got to shout him out and the family, of course, up here. My lovely wife. Her name is
I met her too. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you.
When I saw her and she had her headdress on and her whole, she's beautiful. She's really a beautiful lady.
Well, you know what we try to do, what we never did before, you know, because a lot of people, especially women, they like to dress showing their bodies off and showing this stuff and all that kind of stuff. We don't do that. You know, the Bible says that women should dress modestly so that they don't have to give up all their cookies to everybody's eyes. You know, that's supposed to be for your husband. All right. So let's get that straight. And then, you know, and as well as, you know, we just try to follow Christ. Basically, that's really what it is, you know. And there's too much of people who are not following his ways because they feel like his laws are done away with. But when you think about laws, we do them all the time. Like when we're in a car, we have to drive a certain way. We have to respect the lights and stop signs and all that stuff. Now, and all he says to you is, okay, you black folks, aren't y'all killing each other in the streets all the time, every day? So when you think about it, if you just love your neighbor like yourself, there's one thing that could help the whole world, you know, that we don't have to kill each other. You wouldn't have to, you know, we talked about drugs earlier. Oh, I wouldn't be selling my brother drugs to mess him up. He wouldn't be trying to push drugs on my kids to mess us up. Yeah. So some things are like more simple than you probably really know, but people saying that, you know, we ain't got to do that no more. Yeah, you do.
Man.
You know, you should just really just try to just be a better person because we have to make the world better. The world's in a bad place, people.
Yeah.
And you ain't got to be an OG like me to see it. Because, you know, when I think about
I don't even like watching the news.
Well, the news is also an indicator on what's going on out here. So you kind of got to keep your, you know, what they say, keep your ear to the ground, you know, because you have to be aware of what's coming up next because the next stage that you guys are probably going to go through is going to be worse than we went through.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just getting rough out here.
Yes.
So, you know, I'll say is just God bless you all. Just hold on tight and do the best you can. All right. That's all.
Absolutely.
Ever thought about writing any books before? Last question. Oh, any books or with Braille or anything like that for the blind? I know there's not a lot of information. I read something about Frank. I think it's Frankie Pico. It's the latest. There's not information. A lot of blind people miss out on things because they don't have that, information written down, and
but
they
that's
can't
not
write.
true. That's not true anymore. Why? Because with audible.com and all the audio books and the different things that they have, talking computers and stuff, you can get your hands, we're in the information age. You can get your hands on everything. Anything written, pretty much the stuff that they want you to read, because there are some books that I'm also interested in, ancient type books. Like, when I say ancient, I'm talking about books that are written like in the 1600s, there's a time when Black folks wasn't able to read. I just put it plain. It was against the law for Black folks to read. But at that same time period, there was a lot of books that was written for the other people. Now that we can read now, Master, we're getting our hands on those books. So we're starting to see things that was hidden from us. And some of these things are some of the things that people like Ye are telling you guys about, and Kyrie Irving and others that are starting to wake up. Only because we can read now. That's it. Why was y'all hiding all this stuff from us? Now we know. I remember when the Now This came to me, I literally freaked out because I had no idea that I was related to the Jews from Israel. I had no idea. And the only reason why I had no idea, because it was not presented to me in books. And when I found out, I was like, oh, wow. You mean we're actually Jews? We're actually God's people? Now that really put a smile on my face. And I just kept going from there, because sometimes, when you don't know anything, when nobody surrounded you by certain things, all of a sudden now you're surrounded by it and you're actually reading the books. But the biggest book was actually the Bible. But we actually got our hands on old books that shows Jesus Christ as a Black man. Old books that Moses and everybody in the Bible were Black. And this wasn't fictional books. These were actually study guides. And I was like, wow. The more we dig, the more we find, the more we smile. You know what I mean? The more we get to know.
Some people want to stay ignorant. They be like, I don't want to know.
It's okay. It's not for everybody anyway. So, what I'm talking about is for the few. But it's still really nice to know that the knowledge is, we're in this age of knowledge, and we're able to take advantage of it. Those who are searching, those who are just stumbling, and those who just wake up.
Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. And it ties in with the music, because like I said earlier, I said, when I read First Chronicles and it talks about, playing music and singing, it's prophesying. So when we do this stuff, as long as we do it in a spiritual, positive way, we're actually prophesying what, the ancients was trying to tell us. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's doing something. So I feel really good. So, being a musician and a singer and a writer, oh, man, it's just a beautiful time to do it right now, So that's really good.
I got to get my music and my words out there.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Actually, if you want to go back in the archives, I did an album a couple of years ago. I think it was in 18, maybe 17. It's called Holy Sounds of Surface is the name of my group that I don't use much, but that's the name of the group. And the name of the album was called Download from Heaven.
Download from Heaven. I did see that.
Yeah, Download from Heaven. And it's a compilation of stuff that when I first found out about the Bible, because I never read the Bible before, but when I found out about it, I literally sat there and just kind of went through the Bible and started learning and started writing songs about the Bible. And it was so cool. So if anybody wants to get a little curious about another side of Mr. Prince David over here, look up Holy Sounds of Surface.
Oh, I got it right here.
I see Diamond David, Prince David.
Well,
I'm going to have to check it out. I did see that Download from Heaven. I did
Download from Heaven, yeah. And it's a very beautiful album. It's a very beautiful album.
Yeah.
And so
check that out.
More phases, but it's music is just going in so many different avenues and directions, and every step of the way is beautiful.
Did you use a play on words where you named one of the songs Judah Kiss?
No, it wasn't Judas. It was Judas Kiss.
Kiss, yeah, correct. Judas Kiss.
If you remember the story, do you remember the story about Judas? The biblical story.
Yes.
He actually gave up Christ by coming over to him.
Right.
And he said, the guy that I kissed, that's him.
Do what you
So
got
he
to
went
do.
over and gave him a kiss. So that was actually a treachery. It was evil.
Right.
So I wanted to write a song that I wanted to instantly get somebody from the door, you know what I'm saying? So I said, what come on? I said, now, if I talk about a girl that gave me a Judas kiss, you're going to get it. So that's how that came up. I was like, I got to find something that when they hear that lyric, you know, bam, it's going to grab them. So when you listen to the lyrics to that song, buddy,
that's what you're thinking. Oh, Jadakiss.
Yeah, because I was like, wow, you got anyone Judas?
There's a rapper named Jadakiss.
I
never thought about it like that, but that's a good move.
Yeah. But it had nothing to do with Jadakiss. It had to do with Judas Kiss. The girl that I was with, she did me wrong. And I fell for it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I thought she was all that, you know.
And
I thought she was going to be my wife, you know.
Yeah. Oh.
And she was showing up to everybody, you know what I mean?
Oh.
He beeped it out.
So when I got that kiss from her, I didn't know.
She was putting you out there.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow. I love it.
It's funny how you beamed in on that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, you know, cause I look at it and I was like, wow, this is a gospel album technically. So,
and it's not a gospel album. To me, it's more of a biblical record because gospel music doesn't always tell what the Bible is actually saying.
But that's the spirit.
Yeah, I had to kind of turn a page and say, okay, I know what y'all saying here. Everybody keeps saying, he's going to do this for me, he's going to do this for me. But what are you doing for him? So, the mic is over this way. I guess I'm looking at y'all now. Okay. Yeah, so.
No, you good.
Yeah, it's what are we doing for him as well? Because he gave us this breath. He gave us this life. He gave me this beautiful wife upstairs. You know what I mean? Gave me this home. I should be so thankful. Forget about the fact that I can't see. One day I'll see again. It won't be here, I don't think. But, you know, one day I won't be so short. You know what I mean? There's another place for me.
Oh, man, I'm waiting for the day.
You know what I'm saying, T?
Waiting for the day.
Right, yeah.
I love it.
I'm patient. But in the meantime, I got to spread a little seed here, spread a little seed there. You know, so, you know, you can get more than just a good song out of it. You know, I have a lot of stuff that I study.
Speaking of seeds, are you any of your, if you have any kids, are they, your son, anybody, are they into music? Anybody play any instruments? Or?
Yeah, I actually have, I had a very talented son, and he passed away last year. And he was actually a great artist. I mean, really great. And then he moved on to tattoo and like body sculpture and all that kind of stuff. But he was like, everybody tells me that he was like, that cat. But, you know, the world that we were in, the world that he was in, you know, he just really couldn't handle it. So eventually the world took him out, you know, so he's not here. But his brother, my other son, he's a guitar player, you know, so he writes songs and stuff like that. And then I have two sons here that are getting ready to be 13 and 14. So I started all over with my new wife. So I have two young kids.
Right.
And they're into the whole computer thing. I'm not sure where they're going to go.
Graphic design.
Yeah. They can do a lot of stuff, but music hasn't been the forefront of things, but you never know because look, I started when I was 19 years old. Come on. And I didn't know I was going to be a musician.
And now look, and here we are.
Yeah, if you'd have asked me when I was in high school, what you going to be? I don't know.
Musician. Travel the world.
Never came in my head. No musician. Never would have came in my head.
Yeah.
You know, but here I am.
I'm glad it did. I'm glad you picked up the magic flute for $10.
For $10.
The magic flute transformed your life for $10.
Yeah. And now I got a gold flute, so it's a blessing. You know what I mean? This is beautiful.
Amen. Hey, you got anything before we go out? We're going to start wrapping this up. Got anything you want to say before we call it?
We can lean on the colors of the eyes, you know, as we go, because I just want to really impress upon people that you don't have to think life is over if you go blind, if you lose a hand, if you lose a leg, if you lose a voice. You know, these things, they call them handicaps, but actually they're opportunities. And if anything does happen, there's an opportunity for you to just go into something where God might want you with the most, that can give you more favor. Because one thing about being blind, I travel the world, but you know what? When I travel the world, I have favor. People help me.
Man,
I can't believe it. I might go, man, I might be walking down the street, look like I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Somebody come, hey, sir, you need some help? Next thing you know, somebody's taking me somewhere, somebody's doing something. Now, you have to have the kind of heart to be able to roll with that, because sometimes people out here grab you for the wrong reasons.
That is true.
Now, I don't keep those things in my mind, but don't forget, I am from Newark.
Facts.
Even though I can't see, I will put my hands on you.
Hey.
But yeah, just stay positive out here. That's all I got to say. And try Jesus. There you go.
Try Jesus.
All right.
All right. That was awesome. So tell us, do you have any handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where people can find you at and your music?
Yeah, I got, I got a Resurfaced channel on Facebook. I got David Conley on Facebook.
Yes,
I got Prince David on Instagram.
David.
And then I have a website called Resurfaced. And I got music all over the place. So
yes, you do.
You
even got music in the old film I saw called Franken Chicken.
Is that the cartoon one?
Yeah, yep, that's it. Franken Chicken. Yes, 2004. I saw that you did the music for that.
Yeah, yep, you're right.
It's about what goes into a chicken nugget. Yes, anyway. Called Franken Chicken. That's funny, but yes, go ahead. We can find your music everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Any concerts coming up? Anything coming out? Where you going to be next?
Yeah, we're going to be in. Let me see, February in what is it? Up in what is it? Benton Harbor, I believe. Muskegon, I think, up on the top of Michigan, up by the lakes. We'll be up there with Freddie Jackson and David Hollister. Okay. So that's going to be fun.
And David Hollister. Did you just say David Hollister?
I sure did.
Oh, I love Dave Hollister.
Me too.
You got to get Dave Hollister on KROSS BARZ. Oh man, love Dave Hollister. But that's wonderful. And so in all of that, the things you can check it out on the website. I do want to wish you a happy early birthday. You got a birthday coming up on the
Sagittarius in the building.
Right? I'll do birthdays.
That's right. That's the way you say young. That's what Prince said. If you don't have birthdays, you don't ever get older. All day.
And he did say that. All right. So that's all we got for KROSS BARZ tonight.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Before we go out, I just want to tell everybody you can find us at KROSS BARZ. It's KROSS BARZ. KROSSBARZ.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. Check it out on our website. That's all we got for tonight. We want to take it out. Thank you again so much, Mr. David Conley, the legend.
It's my pleasure.
The legend, the producer, the writer, the director, all of that. We give it up to you. We respect you so much. Thank you so much. We love you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Love you guys too.